The alien fleet approached the small human outpost with confidence. To them, it looked weak and almost unprotected. The outpost was in a quiet part of space, far from any large human colonies, and it had no obvious signs of strong defenses. The alien commander, Zalvin, grinned as he watched the screen showing the human outpost up ahead. "This will be easy," he said to his officers. The crew shared his excitement, as they had conquered many worlds before and were sure this outpost would fall quickly. They thought humans were weak and simple beings. Their technology was nothing compared to the powerful weapons and ships of the alien fleet. To Zalvin and his soldiers, this human outpost was nothing more than a minor obstacle. As the alien ships moved closer, the human outpost stayed silent. There was no movement, no alarm, nothing. Zalvin grew impatient. "Are they even awake?" he muttered. He ordered the first wave of ships to move in and surround the outpost. The ships moved quickly, aiming their weapons directly at the silent structure below. The aliens were ready to fire at any second. But suddenly lights flashed across the surface of the outpost. The once dark outpost came to life in an instant. Turrets rose from hidden sections on the surface, and drones shot out, moving with shocking speed. Before the aliens could react, beams of energy fired from the turrets, hitting the first alien ships directly. Explosions burst across the fleet as several ships took heavy damage or were destroyed on the spot. Zalvin was stunned. "What is this?" he shouted, his eyes wide with surprise. He had never expected this outpost to be defended with such force. His crew scrambled, trying to understand how they had missed this powerful defense system. The outpost, which had looked so small and weak, was now a fierce fortress, protecting itself with weapons and defenses they had never seen before. The alien fleet quickly tried to retreat, but the human drones were fast and relentless. They followed the alien ships, firing precise shots that hit with deadly accuracy. Alien pilots struggled to dodge the attacks, but the drones moved like they knew exactly where each alien ship would go. Zalvin ordered his ships to pull back even farther, hoping to escape the unexpected trap they had just fallen into. However, the outpost was prepared for anything. Just when Zalvin thought his fleet was safe, the humans activated yet another line of defense. Mines that had been floating silently in space suddenly activated, exploding as the alien ships came close. One by one, alien ships were hit by the blasts, shaking and losing control. The aliens had never seen such a clever trap. They had been tricked into thinking the area was safe. Zalvin felt his confidence slip away. His fleet was taking heavy losses, and they hadn't even touched the outpost yet. His pride turned to anger, and he slammed his fist onto the control panel. "Humans! They tricked us!" he shouted, furious that the humans, whom he had thought of as weak, had prepared such a clever defense. As more alien ships were destroyed, Zalvin realized they were outmatched. His once strong fleet was now in chaos, and the humans were pushing them back without mercy. He knew he had no choice but to retreat, at least for now. Reluctantly, he ordered his remaining ships to fall back and regroup at a safe distance. As they pulled away, Zalvin couldn't believe what had just happened. He had come to this small outpost expecting an easy victory. Instead, he had faced a brutal, unexpected defense. For the first time, he realized that the humans might be more dangerous than he had ever thought. Inside the outpost, the human commander watched the alien fleet retreating on his screen. He smiled. The first test of their new defenses had worked perfectly. The message was clear. This outpost would not be easy to conquer. Commander Zalvin was furious. He had come expecting an easy victory, yet the human outpost had forced his fleet into retreat. The aliens regrouped on a nearby moon, safe for now, but their pride was deeply wounded. Zalvin paced across the deck, his eyes cold with anger. The humans had embarrassed him, and he was not going to let it happen again. "Prepare the battle plans," he ordered. His officers gathered, all silent and tense, knowing their leader's temper. Zalvin's voice was steady but filled with determination. "This time we attack with full force. We will crush this outpost and show these humans the true power of our fleet." The aliens devised a new plan. This time, they would send in their biggest ships, heavily armed and ready to destroy everything in their path. They analyzed the humans' defense patterns, trying to find any weaknesses in their response. Zalvin believed he had figured out how the humans thought, and he was sure they wouldn't stand a chance against his new strategy. The fleet moved in again, this time with larger, stronger ships leading the way. As they approached the outpost, everything was silent again. Zalvin smirked. "They're probably running scared now," he muttered. But as soon as they got within range, the outpost suddenly powered up again. Defense turrets popped up across the surface, and drones flew out in perfect formation, ready for battle. The alien ships opened fire, sending powerful blasts toward the outpost. But the humans had planned for this. Their turrets moved fast, dodging attacks and firing back with deadly accuracy. Zalvin watched in frustration as his ships were hit one after another. The human turrets aimed with precision, hitting weak points on the alien ships, and several alien crafts went up in flames. Confusion spread through the alien ranks. They had expected the humans to use the same defenses as before, but this time the humans had changed their strategy. Every move the aliens made was quickly countered by the humans, as if they knew exactly what the aliens would do next. The alien soldiers grew nervous. They felt like they were fighting a force that was always one step ahead. The human commander, watching from his control room, smiled as he directed his forces with calm and confidence. He could see the aliens' frustration, and he knew he had the advantage. He ordered his drones to swarm the enemy ships from all sides, hitting them fast and hard. The alien ships tried to dodge, but the drones were quick and moved in perfect formation. One by one, alien ships began to fall. Zalvin couldn't believe it. His mighty fleet was struggling against this single outpost. He had underestimated the humans again, and now his plan was failing. Desperate, he ordered his ships to change formation and push forward, hoping to break through the outpost's defenses with sheer force. But the humans were ready. They had anticipated this final push, and they had set traps throughout space around the outpost. Mines exploded as the alien ships drew closer, causing chaos among their ranks. The aliens tried to move away, but the drones blocked their escape paths, attacking with relentless precision. Every move the aliens made seemed to lead them deeper into trouble. Zalvin's anger turned to panic. His ships were being destroyed faster than he could give new orders. He had never faced an enemy like this before, one that was small yet powerful and seemed to know every tactic he would try. Realizing he was defeated once again, Zalvin ordered a retreat, his pride shattered. As the alien fleet limped away from the outpost, Zalvin felt a deep sense of dread. These humans, whom he had thought of as weak and inferior, were proving to be much stronger than he had ever imagined. The human outpost remained standing, untouched and victorious, and the aliens were left questioning everything they thought they knew about humans. After the alien fleet retreated, the human outpost stood proudly in space. The air was filled with cheers and celebrations among the soldiers and civilians. They had successfully defended their home against a much larger and powerful enemy. But deep down, the human commander knew the aliens would not stay away for long. They would come back, stronger and angrier. In the command center, the human commander, Captain Sarah Lane, reviewed the battle reports. She understood the aliens were regrouping, and they would likely launch another attack. "We must take the fight to them," she said to her officers. They nodded, agreeing with her. It was time to show the aliens that humans were not only defenders, but also fierce attackers. Captain Lane began to devise a plan. "We will not wait for them to come to us," she declared. "We will hit them where it hurts." The officers listened closely as she explained her strategy. They would prepare their ships and launch a counterattack against the alien fleet while they were still weak from the last battle. This was their chance to show the aliens they were a force to be reckoned with. The humans quickly got to work. They reinforced their ships and loaded them with weapons. They trained their pilots, making sure everyone knew their role in the upcoming attack. The atmosphere was electric with determination. They would not be the victims this time. As the preparations continued, Captain Lane watched the stars through the window of her command center. She thought about the alien commander, Zalvin. He must be angry and confused, just like her soldiers were after the first attack. She smiled, knowing they had the element of surprise on their side. The aliens thought they could bully humans, but they were wrong. The time came for the counterattack. The human ships, now fully prepared, moved out of the safety of the outpost and into the dark space. They formed a tight formation, ready to strike. Captain Lane ordered the fleet to head toward the nearest alien base, which was located on a rocky moon. "Let's show them what we can do," she shouted. As they approached the alien base, the humans spotted several alien ships preparing for takeoff. The aliens looked surprised to see the humans coming for them. "They're not supposed to be here," one alien officer shouted. Zalvin was caught off guard, still planning his next move after the retreat. The human fleet unleashed a storm of missiles and energy blasts toward the alien ships on the moon. The aliens were unprepared, and many of their ships were destroyed before they even had a chance to launch. Captain Lane watched with satisfaction as the explosions lit up the dark moon. This was their moment to turn the tide of the war, but Zalvin quickly regrouped his forces. "Get those ships in the air!" he shouted, furious at the humans for their boldness. The remaining alien ships took to the sky, ready to defend their base. They opened fire, trying to retaliate against the human assault. The battle intensified as human and alien ships clashed in the darkness of space. The humans fought with fierce determination, their pilots moving skillfully through the chaos. Captain Lane led her fleet bravely, inspiring her crew to push harder. They had the momentum, and they wouldn't let it slip away. Drones and fighter ships zipped around, dodging enemy fire while launching their own attacks. The aliens were shocked at the speed and bravery of the humans. Zalvin realized they had underestimated the humans once again. His forces were struggling to keep up with the aggressive tactics of the human fleet. As the battle raged on, Captain Lane saw an opening. She ordered a squadron of ships to flank the alien base, cutting off their escape routes. "Now is our chance!" she yelled. The humans charged in, taking advantage of the chaos. They moved in swiftly, destroying alien turrets and attacking enemy ships from all sides. With a final push, the human fleet overwhelmed the alien base. One by one, the remaining alien ships began to fall. Zalvin could only watch in disbelief as his forces crumbled under the pressure. The humans had taken the fight to him, and they had won. As the last alien ship was destroyed, Captain Lane felt a rush of victory. They had not only defended their outpost, but had also dealt a heavy blow to the alien invaders. The message was clear: humans were not to be underestimated, and the fight was far from over. The aliens would remember this day and think twice before challenging humanity again. In the aftermath of the battle, the alien commander Zalvin was furious. His fleet had suffered great losses, and the humans had shown a strength he had never expected. As he sat in his dark command room, he couldn't shake off the feeling of humiliation. He had underestimated the humans, and now they had turned the tide against him. "Send for my officers!" Zalvin barked. His voice echoed through the room, and soon several of his top officers gathered around him. They looked anxious, knowing their leader was in a foul mood. "We cannot let the humans defeat us again," Zalvin said, his voice low and tense. "We must come up with a new plan, one that will ensure our victory." The officers nodded, trying to hide their fear. They knew how Zalvin could be when things went wrong, and they all felt the pressure to succeed. One of the officers, a young alien named Zorath, stepped forward. "Commander, perhaps we should regroup and call for reinforcements from the home planet. We need more ships and soldiers if we want to challenge the humans again," he suggested, his voice shaky. Zalvin shook his head angrily. "Reinforcements take too long. We do not have the luxury of time. The humans will continue to attack if we do not act fast." He looked around the room, searching for a solution. Then an idea struck him. "We will use the element of surprise against them. We will strike at their outpost when they least expect it." The officers exchanged worried glances. They had just seen how strong the humans were when prepared. "But, Commander," another officer said hesitantly, "what if they are ready for us again?" Zalvin's eyes narrowed. "They will not be. We will launch our attack at night when their defenses are weaker. They think they have won, but they do not know what we are capable of." His determination fired up the room, and the officers began to plan the ambush. Meanwhile, on the human outpost, Captain Lane and her team celebrated their hard-fought victory. They felt a rush of pride knowing they had taken the fight to the aliens. However, Lane remained cautious. "We cannot become overconfident," she warned her crew. "The aliens will not give up easily. We must stay alert." The crew nodded, but excitement filled the air. They were ready to face whatever the aliens would throw at them next. Lane ordered her soldiers to strengthen their defenses, setting up more turrets and patrolling the area more frequently. They knew that the aliens would return, and they needed to be ready. Back in the alien command room, Zalvin's plan was set in motion. His fleet prepared for the surprise attack under the cover of darkness. As the alien ships moved silently through space, Zalvin felt a surge of hope. This time, they would not be defeated. "Prepare to launch!" Zalvin commanded as they approached the human outpost. The aliens were focused and determined, ready to prove their might. But as they neared their target, they noticed something strange. The human outpost was quiet. Too quiet. "Commander, something feels wrong," Zorath said, unease creeping into his voice. "Where are the patrols?" Zalvin waved him off, feeling confident. "Do not question me." We move forward. He pushed his doubts aside, believing the humans had let their guard down after their victory. As the aliens arrived at the outpost, they were ready to attack. But when they entered the area, they found themselves caught in a trap. The humans had anticipated their move and had set up a defensive perimeter around the outpost. Turrets powered up and drones flew into the air, ready for combat. Zalvin watched in horror as the humans launched a surprise counterattack. "Retreat!" he shouted, but it was too late. The humans fired powerful blasts, hitting the alien ships with precision. The aliens were caught off guard, and chaos erupted. The alien ships tried to escape, but the humans had planned for this moment. They swarmed the aliens from all sides, attacking with skill and ferocity. One by one, the alien ships fell under the human assault, and the crew felt the weight of desperation. Zalvin realized that this time, the tables had turned once again. The humans were relentless, and their determination was greater than he had imagined. As his fleet suffered another devastating defeat, he understood that his plans had failed. The humans were not just fighting for their survival, they were fighting for their future. As the alien fleet scattered and fled into the darkness, Zalvin felt a deep sense of dread. The humans had proven to be fierce adversaries, and he knew he would have to think of a new strategy to regain control. The battle was far from over, and the aliens were losing more than just ships. They were losing hope. The battle raged on, but the humans stood strong. Captain Sarah Lane watched as her crew fought bravely against the desperate alien forces. The atmosphere in the command center was charged with energy. Every soldier knew this was a critical moment in their fight for survival. "Push forward!" Captain Lane shouted, her voice ringing with determination. "We must not let them escape." The humans had been through so much, and they could not allow the aliens to regroup again. They needed to secure a decisive victory. As the human ships advanced, the alien fleet struggled to maintain control. Zalvin was furious. His forces were in disarray, and the humans were relentless. "Get those ships in formation!" he yelled, trying to regain some semblance of order. But the humans were too strong and too focused. The alien ships began to break apart under the human attack. Missiles and energy blasts tore through their hulls, causing explosions that lit up the dark space around them. The sight filled the human crew with excitement. They could feel victory within their grasp. "Commander, we are losing too many ships!" one of Zalvin's officers cried out, panic creeping into his voice. "We cannot hold them back!" Zalvin knew he had to do something drastic. He had never faced such fierce opposition before. "Prepare to activate our last line of defense," Zalvin ordered. The alien fleet had a secret weapon, a powerful energy shield that could protect their remaining ships. It was a gamble, but Zalvin hoped it would give them a fighting chance. Meanwhile, Captain Lane knew that the time to strike was now. She ordered her ships to focus their fire on the alien flagship, which was crucial to their command. If they could take it down, the rest of the fleet would likely follow. "Aim for the flagship," she commanded. "We end this fight today!" The human ships launched a barrage of missiles toward the alien flagship, which shimmered in the darkness. As the missiles hit, the alien shields flickered and struggled to hold up against the powerful attacks. Zalvin watched in horror as his flagship began to take damage. "Return fire!" he shouted, but it was too late. The humans had the momentum, and their resolve was unyielding. The flagship exploded in a brilliant flash, sending debris flying through space. The crew of the flagship, once proud and powerful, was now scattered. With the flagship gone, the alien fleet began to panic. Ships turned and fled, desperate to escape the wrath of the humans. "They are breaking!" one of the officers shouted, unable to contain his excitement. The tide had turned completely in favor of the humans. Captain Lane felt a surge of adrenaline. "Let's finish this!" she cried. The human ships pursued the fleeing alien fleet, firing missiles and energy blasts with precision. The victory was so close, and they would not let it slip away. As the last alien ships fell to the human assault, cheers erupted throughout the command center. The crew celebrated their hard-earned victory, knowing they had defended their home against an overwhelming force. They had shown the galaxy that humans were not to be underestimated. Back on the alien homeworld, Zalvin received the news of his fleet's defeat. He felt a cold chill run down his spine. The humans had proven themselves as fierce warriors, and his plans had failed. The losses were great, and he knew the consequences would be severe. His people would not forgive him for this failure. But Captain Lane's victory was not just a personal triumph. It was a message to all: humans would fight for their survival. They had defended their home, and now they would rebuild and prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle had united them, and they were ready for the future. As the human ships returned to the outpost, Captain Lane stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. They had won this fight, but she knew there would be more battles to come. The universe was vast, and the humans would face many challenges ahead. But together, they would rise to meet them, stronger and more united than ever. With the alien threat diminished, the crew celebrated their hard-won victory, knowing they had defended their home and stood up to a powerful enemy. The humans had proven that no matter the odds, they would always fight back. And in that spirit, they would continue to protect their world and their people, ready for whatever the future might bring.